Good afternoon, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for Thursday, November 20, 2025. And in the news this afternoon, farmer forced to sell donkey to rebuild after Melissa. Williamsfield farmer Jeffrey Platt is facing a devastating prospect of parting with his donkey colt in order to buy fertilizer and restart his livelihood. Platt said he has been forced to put the animal on the market after Hurricane Melissa wiped out more than 3,000 hills of yam on his property. The 45-year-old farmer said Melissa leveled his entire hillside operation, leaving nothing behind to salvage and no way to earn an income to rebuild. The farm then mash up, he told the news, recalling how the floodwaters that settled near his community gradually crept across his land and drowned his young crops. Me stand up in the middle of the farm and me feel like me can't even breathe. All the work when me put in just vanished, he said. With every plot destroyed and his supplies washed away, replanting is now financially out of reach. Platt says he needs 12 bags of fertilizer to restart. The blends commonly used by yam farmers cost between $6,500 and $8,500 per bag, putting his restart bill close to $100,000. It's a price he simply cannot pay, and so he has turned to the only option he believes he has left. Instead of wake up a beg people, me decide to sell the cubby and buy fertilizer, because me have nobody to give me anything, he shared. He has set a price of $110,000 for the young animal, but even that lifeline has been slow to take shape. 1 or 2 people call me now, about 3 somebody call me and said them are gonna call me back. But nobody no really look like them one donkey, he said. Letting go of the cubby has been an emotional blow. At the cubby me raised from him born, me never planned to sell him, but me reach a point where me have to choose between the animal and my whole livelihood. Meanwhile, his losses extended beyond the farm. Platt said Melissa, the Category 5 storm, which struck Jamaica on October 28, not only damaged his crops but also his house and destroyed his small shop. It took off couple zinc off of my house, and me have one shop, it mash up completely, he said. Some days the weight of the disaster feels like too much to carry, and I beg me like beg, me just want a chance to start back. Me can't plant hope, me have to plant yam. With everything from his crops to his roof torn apart, selling the young donkey, the only copy he owns, has become his last attempt to rebuild what the hurricane swept away. Me just want the chance to start again. Once me get the fertilizer, me know me can bring back the farm, but me have to sell the donkey first, he said. Met Service expert says Jamaica not yet out of the woods for storm threats. While the likelihood of Jamaica being battered by another Category 5 storm decreases as the official end of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season approaches, the Met Service is cautioning that the island is not out of the woods just yet. The potential for strong, rapid, intensifying storms is reduced, but it is not ruled out. So even if you get a weak tropical storm, it might not be a Melissa, but you could get some rain or flash flooding or landslide and still some damage. Manager of Weather Services at the Meteorological Service of Jamaica, Rohan Brown, told the news. Traditionally, the most active months of the hurricane season are between August and October, but late-season storms have been known to form. For example, in December 2003, 4 days after the season officially ended, the Met Service issued a storm warning for Jamaica as Tropical Storm Odette approached. Compared to Hurricane Melissa, Odette was doing a brisk 17 kilometers per hour and was packing maximum winds of almost 65 kilometers per hour. The warning was eventually lifted as the system picked up speed and moved away from Jamaica. Brown explained that the factors that could influence whether there are more storms this year included water temperatures and atmospheric conditions. The waters are still warm, so we still have warm sea surface temperatures. We still have relatively low wind shear, and we are in something called an ENSO-neutral climatic environment. ENSO is El Niño Southern Oscillation, so when there's a strong El Niño, it suppresses Atlantic hurricane activity, but when it is neutral or weak, it favors more storms. so we're still in an ENSO-neutral condition, he explained. He added that the current ENSO-neutral climate allows the tropical waves and the troughs to develop more easily, often strengthening more quickly than under other conditions. Also, we have weak wind shear, so the changing of the wind in terms of directions at the surface and upper level, the weak wind shear also allows for the development of storms as well, and that is also something important that we think about as well. There is the risk, but the risk is somewhat lower as we go towards the end of the hurricane season, the Met Service manager said. Brown urged the public to remain alert until the official end of the season on November 30, monitor tropical waves or low-pressure systems, and to pay close attention to advisories from the Met Service. Even though there is no projected tropical cyclone activity within the next 7 days, based on the most recent forecast, he still stressed the importance of being prepared locally. Even though we're recovering, we should still keep the gullies and the water as clear as possible under the circumstances now, and to do our best in terms of helping each other build back stronger and more resilient, he urged. Brown's caution revived the memories of the unusual formation in January 2016 of Hurricane Alex in the Atlantic Ocean. It was only the second time on record, first since 1938, for such a rare event. Hurricane Alex started off as an extratropical cyclone that formed over the Bahamas on January 6 and moved east over the central Atlantic Ocean. Hurricane Melissa made landfall on October 28, 2025, along the island's southwestern coast near New Hope, Westmoreland, with maximum sustained winds estimated at 295 kilometers per hour or 185 miles per hour. The Category 5 hurricane caused major damage to numerous homes, critical infrastructure, agriculture, and the livestock. The impact was particularly severe in the western section of the island, where many Jamaicans remain without water, electricity, or adequate shelter. There have been 45 confirmed deaths to date. 15 people missing as Hurricane Melissa death toll remains at 45. The death toll for Hurricane Melissa remains at 45. 9 other deaths are being investigated, but the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management said the missing persons list is constantly changing. ODPEM Director General Commander Alvin Gale said some names have been cleared. However, new ones are emerging as assessments continue. He said to date, the number of missing persons remain in double-digit figures.
15 persons still remain missing, and our thoughts remain with their families and loved ones. What I'll indicate about the missing number is that the number continues to evolve. Some persons have been coming off the list, and a number of persons have also joined the list. As of today's date, 97 emergency shelters remain active, housing some 1,296 persons. Since my last briefing, 167 persons have returned home or found alternate safe accommodation. No communities remain inaccessible at this time. A number of communities, however, are impacted by rising groundwater. Approximately 31% of our population remains without electricity. Prioritization efforts continue in critical economic zones in St. James, St. Anne, and Trelawney.
Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.